Hey, welcome back to Already Overbooked. And yeah, let's just jump into what's been going on this week. We are officially done with baseball season. We had our round one of playoffs last week and we lost. It was a great season. They doing a lot better at the end of this year than what they were at the beginning. The beginning of the year, they were kind of a hot mess as a team, but they were kind of getting together at the end, kind of getting working as a team, which is always good to go through and see. But that other team, they were just a little bit better, so they ended up going through and beating us. But you know what? We have next year, we got next season to go through and start preparing for. So super excited for that. We'll see how things go. That's it from a personal side. Let's just jump into the giveaway. Let's jump to the giveaway. So we went through and I went up against the great Tom Orange this past week, and we were going and we were competing against. We used to live here. That was what we were going through and competing for. If I lost against Tom, we were going to go through and give that book away to one of you. And it came down to the Monday night game. And I keep on saying this a lot during these updates on the fantasy stuff, that it really comes down to the last game. It's so close. He was kicking my butt all week. And it was I was like, man, I'm about to lose another one. But came down to Monday. I ended up going through and winning 132 to 131. It was such a crazy game. It came down to the 10 o'clock game. And yeah, I got very, very lucky. So I get to go through and continue my winning streak, which is awesome. But this upcoming week, I'm going against someone who's very good, and this is Noah from Noah Brisk Reviews on Instagram. If you're not familiar with Noah, you definitely need to go through and follow his stuff on Instagram. He's fantastic. I'll have his links below. And if Noah wins, he wants me to go through and give away Ryan Cahill's book. It's called, oh man, what's that book called? Oh yes, of Blood and Fire. I should know this. It's of Blood and Fire. I've not personally gone through and read this, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about this series. So if you want an opportunity to go through and win this book, let's just say put a number between 1 and 100 in the comments below. So just any number, I don't care, 1 through 100, and you'll have an opportunity to win book one of Ryan Cahill's fantastic series. So book one of Blood and Fire. So let's jump into what did I go through and read. I ended up going through and reading one novella and 3 novels. So let's jump to the novella first. This is The Whisper That Replaced God by Timothy Wolfe. This was a short, very short story. I think it was less than 100 pages, but it was so good. It was really engaging. It really pulled me in from the first page. You go through and you follow Mute, who has been gone from his community, his people, for a while now, and he has to return home for a mission. And what he has to do is going to go through and change everything in Mute's life. So does he go through and complete the mission, or does he do something else? It is so good. I am 100% going to go through and read book 2, or the second novel of the duology, very, very soon. It was so good and so well done, and I cannot recommend it more. Now, the first novel I went through and read this past week was Discovery by J.A.J. Minton. And I think the best way for me to go through and describe this, think of it if you took Guillermo del Toro from his novel series The Strain, Stephen King The Stand, and F. Paul Wilson's Repairman Jack, and then went through and decided to sprinkle in a little bit of Lovecraft, and you will go through and get something part apocalyptic, part myth, part fever dream. And that's exactly what reading Discovery by J.A.J. Minton feels like. It felt like a a descent into the unknown. It went through and went into science, it went into faith, it went into sanity. And you really start to go through and drown into reality and what's really going on. This book was a mind racer. It really is making me think, and it was so well done. Definitely for a first book. This is a story I need to go through and marinate on before I move forward with the review. I really need to get my thoughts together with this one. But it was so well done. I flew through this book. It is right at 437 pages, and I think I got it done in a few days. I couldn't put it down. The structure, the characters, the arcs, the heart-wrenching moments in this story was so good. And I highly, highly recommend checking out Discovery by J.A.J. Minton. I'm probably going to do a full review on this in a few weeks. I just need to really marinate and think through what I would like to say, because I know there's a bunch of reviews out there, and I don't want to regurgitate what other people have said. So I really need to marinate on this one. But again, if you like The Strain, The Stand, and Repairman Jack, and you want the best of each of those authors blended together into a masterpiece, this is it. Highly recommend checking this one out. The next one I went through and read was The Floating Castle by the great L.N. Holmes. Now, this one is dark. It's grounded in fantasy. It's about control, survival, and what happens when power finally breaks. It is a heavy, messy, full of complicated people who have to make these impossible choices. And what I really loved about this book is it doesn't go through and tie everything up neatly. It leaves things messy, and it leaves things wide open for interpretation and where the story's going to be going. It was so real feeling. It was such a well done book, and highly go through and recommend checking out The Floating Castle by L.N. Holmes. The last book that I just finished probably an hour ago was Dirty Deeds by Armin Rosamilia. Yes, Ronald Rosamilia. This was a short thriller. It was a palate cleanser before I start jumping into some other stories that I plan on going through and reading this month. And this book is about James, and for a lot of money, he will go through and kill your kids for you. But in reality, he goes through and takes the money that you pay him to kill your kids, and then he kidnaps your kids and takes them to a family that's actually going to go through and take care of them. It's a very interesting premise, very intriguing protagonist. James is an older character. He is not a young guy. He's definitely on the older side. He's getting closer to wanting to retire, but he doesn't know how to improve himself to get ready for the changing of the world. He's really stuck in his ways, but he hasn't found that right person yet to take on the mantle of being this savior for children. So when he's going through and dealing with these internal battles, he's also working to save more kids, and he's being hunted by the FBI. He's also being hunted by a mob boss who is after him for a completely different reason. The cops are after him because anytime he goes into any towns across the United States, kids go missing, and obviously he starts becoming a suspect for this. And then the mafia is after James is because this big mafia boss paid James to kill his son, and then magically the son shows up years later, not dead. So obviously they have some questions for Mr. James on how they paid him all this money to kill this kid, and the kid is magically coming back to life years later. So very fun, good palate cleanser book. Just because I say palate cleanser doesn't mean it's not good. It's very, very fun book, but it's one of those you don't have to think too much with it. Just sit down, relax, and have a fun ride. It was a good one. So go through and check out Dirty Deeds. It's actually a really fun one. I have it in the description. You can go through and check that one out. Now, what am I currently reading? I have not officially started this because I did just finish Dirty Deeds maybe an hour ago. But this one is This Wretched Valley by Jenny Kiefer, I think it is. Jenny Kiefer. This book has been getting so much praise from Matt from Books from the Front Porch. So I had to go through and pick up this book. And it's about 4 friends who go on a rock climbing trip, and 7 months later 3 of the 4 bodies are discovered in the trees just off the highway, all in different states of decay. So the question starts lingering: were the climbers murdered, or is something else crazy going on? So I'm excited to jump into this. Matt from, as I mentioned, Books from the Back Porch, stated this is probably one of the best horror books he's ever gone through and read. So I am super excited to jump into this, and I hope to get to it, or hope to finish this before the end of the month. Most likely due to the size. It's like 200 and right under 300 pages. So I don't see why I'm not going to be able to finish it. So hopefully I have as much fun as what Matt had with this book. So let's jump into my book haul. I've received a few books, ebooks, and then I bought a bunch of books. So bear with me on this side of the house. So the first one is The Devil and Mia. This book is about life is no bowl of cherries for the Smiths. Matt is a selfish prick with a drinking problem, and his long-suffering wife has fallen foul of most unsavory guests. As Mary Hell begins to break loose and it becomes clear that her life is in mortal danger, Matt finds himself dealing with more than just one demon. The question is, will he finally prove to man up enough to rise to the occasion? So this was an art copy. I'm super excited to go through and jump into The Devil and Mia. Probably going to start this in next month is what I'm thinking. The next one is, I've talked about this book at the beginning of this conversation. I went and bought The Whisper That Replaced God Part 2. As I mentioned earlier, I love the first novella, and I need to know what happens to Mute in this one. I don't want to go through and say what it's about, because I do want you to go through and read the first one. Again, both of them together are 200 pages, so go through and pick those up. The next one I ended up getting was Justified, and I picked up this one based on the awesome looking cover, and I'm really want to start leaning into more at the end of this year, beginning of next year, reading more military science fiction. So this one is about a fallen warrior who crashes on a deserted world ruled by a brutal alien empire, where the enslaved locals see this guy as their last hope. And he's armed only with faith and his hidden powers. He must rise to challenge the impossible, even if it cost him everything. So sounds awesome. Excited to go through and hopefully get to Justified sometime this year, if not first of next year. The next one I ended up going through and buying was Academy of Outcasts. Josh from The Reformed Reader was given this book so much love that I had to go through and pick it up. Josh went through and mentioned that if you like Mistborn, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Assassin's Creed, which I love all of them, you need to go through and read this book. So, Josh, based on your amazing recommendation, I went through and got this. So, if for some reason I do not like this, I'm coming to get my money back from you specifically. The next one is Alone Together Factions, Alone Together Factions by the great S.S. Fitzgerald. I loved book one. I did a whole review on it. I'll put something up here. You need to go through and check this book series out. But it was so much fun. It was intense. So of course I had to go through and pick up book two when it came out. So I'm expecting intensity. I'm expecting more amazing characters, more action, character development, amazing arcs, and those crazy moments where I want to throw the book across the room during when Sean kills off another favorite character of mine. I stopped telling Sean who I liked in these books because I feel like he's just purposely killing them off. So hopefully I'll have at least one or two people I like in this one that survive till the end of the book, but we'll see. The next one, or the last one, is The Father of Shadow and Death by the great Tim McKay, which is about a city of wealth and exile. An ancient god has gone through and awakened in the land, and horrors start closing in, and one man fights to save his people from this divine wrath and betrayal. So this one's also an arc book, and I appreciate you sending this to me, Tim, and I hope to get to this one also in November at some time. I did get two physical books, both of them by the great Thomas Riley. Thomas, I appreciate you sending these to me. The first one is The Last Gasp of Midnight. This one is about a battle between two opposing soldiers, and that's the whole novella. It is short. I think it's 32 pages. So it's 32 pages. So it's just about one fight between these two guys. And that's what Thomas was trying to do with this. So super excited to jump into this and see kind of how well you can write amazing fight stories, Thomas. I appreciate this. The next one is The Light of Casaban. So this one is about a city where magic is outlawed and even infants are hunted for their gifts, and a hidden refugee shelter that orphans these children from execution. And when the protector demands a steep price for silence, survival becomes a desperate race against the flames of harsh regime. So I'm super excited to jump into this. This gives off like the cool mythical type of story against children with power. So we'll see. Super excited. Appreciate this, Thomas. I'm probably going to go through and get to this one hopefully before the end of the year, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted, buddy. All right, so let's talk about what is happening this upcoming week. I do have a few things going on. We have on Sunday, I'm interviewing the great Blake Myers. Blake Myers is the author for Who Put Belle in the Witch Gem. I did a review on that this past Monday. If you have not gone through and checked out that review, go through and check it out. I have it somewhere listed up here. This book was so good. So I have so many questions for Blake. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. Not going to want to go through and miss it. On Monday, I'm doing a review of Sandman Slim, and I was so pleasantly surprised on how much I love this book. So I need to go through and tell all of you about it. Definitely for those, for some reason, you haven't gone through and read Sandman Slim, I'm hoping to change your mind, and then you'll go through and pick this amazing gem up. On Tuesday, I'm interviewing the great L.N. Holmes of Floating Castle. As I mentioned, I did go through and finish this book this week, and I have some interesting takes and feedback on this book. So it's going to be a fantastic conversation. Ellen is such a nice person, and I'm excited to talk with them about this amazing gem that they let me go through and read. So I really appreciate it. On Friday, we're going to be doing another weekly recap where I talk about everything that happens from now to then. All right, so it's time for another indie author spotlight, and today we're talking about Michael Roberti, author of Crown and Tide series. And after people from across the sea take control of the Midlands, the Reach launches a war to retake their home. There's intrigue, there's betrayal that leads to questioned honor and loyalty as leaders sell out friends and brothers in a personal bid for Power. This series has gotten so much love, and I have added this fantastic book to my TBR, and I'm hoping to go through and buy it and read it very soon. If you are interested in jumping into this amazing book series, links to Michael's works are going to be in the description below. Go through and pick up yourself a copy. Based on everything that I've been seeing, and you can see all the comments, amazing comments here. This has gotten so much love from the people who've gone through and read it, so I'm excited to go through and read it myself. So it's jumping into the BookTuber Spotlight. So I want to go through and spotlight Austin from Outer World Media. Austin is a person who reads a lot of thrillers. He reads a lot of westerns and horror books. His videos are done so well, and he recommends some amazing gems, definitely things that I have not heard of. And the way he does his videos really gets you engaged and intrigued into his work. So I highly recommend checking out his videos, and all of his information will be in the description below. So that's it for this week. Let me know what you're reading, watching, or grabbing in your hauls this week. I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. So I see you in the next one. Stay overbooked.